Hey, Buddy Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report. Celtics beat the Nets 114-107. It's 2-0 series. I'm with Josue Pavon here. And there's a lot to hit on from this one, but I'm starting with Jaylen Brown. 22 points, leads the Celtics, 9 of 18 shooting. You look at the line, looks like he had a fantastic game, and he did. But it didn't start that way. The sloppiness, the turnovers, the miscues, dribbling too much. It was all there until that fourth quarter sequence where he just blew this one open. 10 straight points. Celtics were creeping within single digits, had made a pushback in the late third, and he just blew them right through the finish line. They take a lead. They end up leading by as many as 9 down the stretch there. It was one of those Jaylen sequences where he just blows the roof off this place. Spot up 3 to end it. And I thought it was one of the most important moments of his career to be able to slow the game down, steal a playoff game from the Nets that was basically in their hands as they led by 17, 10 at half. And this is just a demoralizing loss for Brooklyn. I felt Boston had to win game 1 after they led by as many as they did. Brooklyn had to win game 2 here, leading by as many as they did.
Yeah, definitely. And you said it perfectly about Jaylen Brown. I mean, towards the end of the regular season, we were seeing these stretches happen at the very beginning, right? Those first quarters, the first half, where you're scoring 13, 14 points going into halftime, or even sometimes it was only in one quarter, right? And that was great. I was hoping that would translate into, in the postseason, but they need him to be that defender on the opposite end. And I think that he's sort of picks his spots, knows when to attack, but it was driving me crazy, Bobby, because I felt like he was trying to shoot over Patty Mills, shooting over Bruce Brown. Like, take these guys to the rack. You have the athleticism, and you have the backup, right? I mean, between everyone passing the ball, everyone looking for the right shot, I mean, Jaylen not only picked his spots, but he took matters into his own hands in a good way. Attacking the rim, setting things up, and then opening that three-point shot that I thought was the dagger, man. That was Kevin Durant-like, That was the sort of playoff performance that you would see from Kevin Durant, where you knew it was the fourth quarter, the opposing team knew, here he comes, here comes the closer, and now we're in a 9-point game with a few minutes left to go after having
they were in full control.
You had a 17-point lead, 15-point lead, and the Celtics just took it right back, but they did it in a hurry, and Jaylen Brown had everything to do with it.
Yep, Grant Williams too.
Yeah.
3 threes, keeping it within single digits. Nets had a couple 13-point leads in the first half, but he comes out, hits 3 straight threes, cracks that offense open. Celtics only shot 41% the first half. Nets are out there shooting 60, so they had to keep it close. I felt like the Nets could lead by 20 right there, but they turned the ball over, gave up a timely stop, and the Celtics were just able to creep around there enough. And then Grant Williams came in the third and just gave them such good minutes there.
Yeah.
Defensively and shot making, finally putting both together for a real solid game here. And then Payton Pritchard off the bench comes through and steals with the go-ahead basket, as well as a couple baskets to extend the lead down the stretch. So he was out there doing it with the starters as well. Bench production, big swing factor in this game. Nets early, Celtics late.
Second half, yeah. I'm glad you brought up Payton Pritchard, because he impressed me also on the defensive end. I thought he did a good job staying in front of his guys. I thought he was very poised, offensively. Didn't just settle for the three-point shot. I love that jumper, by the free throw line. The three was obviously the big one of the night, but yeah, I mean, to your point, Bobby, you want to keep these guys in the loop here and make them a part of what's going on. And obviously being in the rotation is that, but when guys are putting up performances like Grant Williams and Payton Pritchard in the fourth quarter, man, Payton Pritchard hasn't even been in this kind of atmosphere. That's why after the game he was like, "This is the best, Celtics best fans in the world." I'm like, yeah, because you're finally getting that taste, that dose of playoff basketball in Boston, and so is Jaylen Brown, man. I mean, Jaylen Brown's been through it, but it's been a couple of years, and I think there's something to be said about that. How he sort of had to sit out last season. The year before that was in the bubble, and now putting himself on the same stage of top names like Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, and just not shying away from that big moment, knowing what he had to do, knowing he could attack these guys, use his athleticism, create in transition, man, all that. In the fourth quarter, he led that surge, man. It was really impressive.
It was, and the bench was great. Jaylen was great. He said, "This wasn't just me and Jaylen. This isn't just me, Jason, and Smart, the big three there. This is the Celtics." And I love that. The leadership.
Yeah, man.
Not only that, speaking out as their leads disappearing in game 1. He talked about what he said at halftime for that situation and at halftime in this game as they faced a massive deficit. So Jaylen showing leadership in that sense as well. But we got to talk about the defense. Kevin Durant now 31% through 2 games. They've made life difficult for him. Kyrie 10 points in this game. really a non-factor. They've shut out 2 stars, and they've paid good attention to role guys too. So how do you do that? You have 5 capable defenders, you're on a string, you're playing good drop defense, so these guys can't hit the paint.
Yeah.
They're just a well-oiled defensive system right now who I think jumps at the opportunity to force turnovers. And if they need a foul and it allows them to keep playing aggressively, they will. They sent Kevin Durant to the free throw line 20 times and still held them down.
That's defense leading to offense, which has obviously been the identity of this team. But it's also championship defense, Bobby. I mean, when you look at your top guys and they don't have it all the way, or they're still trying to find their offensive rhythm, but that doesn't deteriorate the defense from guys 1 through 5. I mean, that's instilled in these guys for the entire season, right? Like that's what the 500 team that we saw the first couple of months of the season, like that's how they had to grow out of those bad habits and become involved into the team that they are right now. And you looking at some of these guys in the fourth quarter, 1 through 5. You look at the way the Brooklyn Nets have been playing defense, like it's just obvious as to which one has more cohesion, which team is Ime Udoka is able to rely on any of these guys. And it's the reason why that defense leads to offense, why 7 players scored in double figures for the Celtics. I mean, all that is relative, man. And I thought one of the more eye-opening quotes coming from the Brooklyn Nets was what Kyrie had to say about Ime Udoka having the key to the treasure chest, because he was on the coaching staff last year, with the Brooklyn Nets. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You guys still have a head coach in Steve Nash. And it sounded like a shot in a way at his coach, but also him, reminding everyone that him and Durant are going to take care of this thing, or they have to figure things out. They have to look at film. And if you ask me, Bobby, I feel like they just don't have the answers right now. They don't look like they have the answers. They're not saying the things that, would make you think that they're going to be able to turn this thing around. But as a group, like that's the thing. You look at what the Celtics are doing compared to what the quotes, from these guys. Like, I just don't feel that it's not team oriented the way it is with the Celtics, and that's a great thing if you're a Celtics fan watching this series, man. But we'll see what happens in Brooklyn. I'm looking forward to it.
We're gonna see what it looks like in Brooklyn. Maybe the Stars can steal a game, but without involving the role guys as they did early and struggled to do late, it's gonna be tough for the Nets to string together a win when the Celtics have this many contributors throughout their rotation. We'll see what happens, and of course, we will have coverage live from Brooklyn.
Yes,
thanks in part to Calm. Great sponsors like Calm, calm.com/garden. Get 40% off a premium subscription. Yoga, meditation, sleep help. It's all there.
Calm of the day. That's my go-to, the calm of the day.
And we will be live from practice as well tomorrow. Celtics All Access. Go get our coverage there as you're watching this here, of course, and CLNS Media for the Celtics post-game show. Live after Game 3 on Saturday night. Josue, Sherrod, myself will all be in Brooklyn from Barclays Center as the Celtics try to take a commanding 3-0 lead in this first round series.